Yeah.
And we welcome you to This is Overtime here on OSN after a dominant victory for the Ottawa Senators as they defeat the Florida Panthers by a score of 5-1. I had to go check because it was 3-1. I'm like, I got my score. As everybody saw on the pregame show, Tanner picked Florida to win. Can't believe he did.
No, okay. Whoa, now. I'm not Zach. You don't get to bury me like that. I'm not going to sit here and take it. I took the Sens to win 5-1, but nobody knows because Lee, you and I streamed to nobody for 30 minutes, not realizing that StreamYard had some error connecting to YouTube. First time this has ever happened for us, but we did the exact same thing we just did now, and now I can confirm we are live for sure. We didn't do anything different, but
no,
just how it goes, I guess.
There's nothing different. I didn't realize till the end. I'm looking for a picture to put up on the website. I'm like, how come it's not there?
And we were also like, how come nobody's coming into chat? Like, it's just us the whole time.
Thursday night, 6:30. But you know what? I learned things from Tanner, and Tanner, well, he put up with me for half an hour, and we talked to ourselves. But we're here, and you know what makes me feel good is that not only for the Ottawa Senator fans that like they're almost there. They are almost there with this win over the Florida Panthers. They get to 94 points. So it makes me feel good selfishly that a couple of people were like, how come you didn't do a pregame show? Like, where were you? I was waiting for you. I'm like, well, we did. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was the best show we've ever done.
Didn't quite make it out to everybody. But for the Ottawa Senators, boring, but that works, right? Like it's almost what you would have predicted if you thought it was just going to go like chalk is what they call it in the betting world. It's like, yeah, well, what I think is going to happen tonight should happen is that Ottawa will bury a team that has no real chance at the playoffs. They have no real drive. Ottawa will get up on them early and they'll just smother them. And like there is a point in the second period where I was very grateful, like Julian, who comes in here and says, yet another game I could not watch, but paid attention to the scoreboard. Early metrics was not the most entertaining hockey game. Well, Julian, I can tell you it was not. In fact,
no.
Very thankful that the Tampa-Montreal game was on, the Columbus-Buffalo game was on, and the Detroit-Philadelphia game was on. And I was just flipping back and forth. Got to see Cole Caulfield will get to scoring 50. Incredible scene, though, in Montreal. Like, Cole Caulfield getting 50 was outshining the fact that they're up 1-0 against Tampa, fighting for the division lead and maybe the conference lead. People didn't care. It was like Cole Caulfield got 50. So that happened in Montreal, but for Ottawa, the game was so boring.
Yeah.
But in a good way, if you're a Sens fan, because you didn't want any drama. You didn't need it to be close against a Florida team that stinks. You just wanted an easy win. And that's what it was tonight, Tanner. It was an easy win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked at times like men against boys. The Panthers had a bit of a push at the end there, but like you mentioned, just a very boring hockey game to watch. I found myself channel flipping a little bit too and pulling the phone out, but you get through it. And I think at this time of the season, if the Senators can just coast through these last 4 games, I think it's fine, especially with how many things it seems like have been happening in some of these games, whether it be certain players getting hurt or other things like that. If your storyline from this game was kind of boring, but they absolutely crushed a garbage team, you take it and you ride that to the playoffs.
Right. Oh, you absolutely take it and run. So the Senators at 94 points, quickly going over the scoreboard here. The first period stream was more exciting than the Sens game. Yep. So Marcus in as well experienced the first period test you did. Yeah, we needed to test to see what the hell was going on. So I just went live for like a minute, said hi. Apparently Marcus was listening, and same with Zach.
Nice to know the notifications are going out, but yeah.
Like, no. Hey, these guys are live in the middle of the game. Well, I can tell you too that is a plan. I don't want to give away too much, but that is the plan for the playoffs. That we're going to just go live during the games. Ottawa games, Montreal games, any games. We're going to get the room ready to go. People can join in any way they want. It's going to be fantastic. But they're going to the playoffs, barring a big. They would have to lose maybe all three to me for the Ottawa to not make the playoffs. Now, the one thing here is that the Islanders won tonight, so they're at 91. If the Islanders beat Ottawa in regulation, they'll get to 93. Then it becomes a little bit more dicey with 2 games to go, depending on what Philadelphia also does, right? Because the one thing that both of those teams would have to jump over Ottawa if they're going to make the playoffs. One team's going to finish third in the Metro, but the other team has to jump over Ottawa as well. And Philadelphia losing tonight to Detroit, that game just took forever. That game was terrible too. Every time I flipped to it, and it's still
not over.
Yeah, still going 6-2. And the Montreal Tampa game was only 1-0. You'd think, boy, that's going to be a fast game. There was a scrum or a fight or something after every whistle. Every whistle. It just seemed to take forever. But Montreal.
I do think that there might be one team we could strike out now. I'm thinking it might be it for the Columbus Blue Jackets after their performance tonight, losing 5-0 to the Buffalo Sabres. And just looking at their recent stretch, 3-6-1 in their last 10, now sitting 4 points back of the Senators for the second wildcard spot. Still only 2 points back of Philly for third in the Metro, but to me, I think the Blue Jackets have lost whatever momentum and spark that they had going this year that pulled them back.
Buffalo played last night. Last night, and then Buffalo had to travel back, and Columbus was waiting for them, and they had nothing in that game. Absolutely nothing. So
yeah, and honestly, I was kind of rooting for the Blue Jackets of those Metro teams. Personally, I'd like to see them in the playoffs more than Philly, more than the Islanders, certainly more than the Red Wings, but that's other division. But of the Metro teams, I kind of wanted them to get in. I think that city's been through enough the last couple of years, and I'd like to see them have some success. It was a cool story with Bonus coming in, but I just think at this point they're probably done.
Yeah. But getting back to Ottawa, I can't believe we're having this discussion, but this discussion now can turn to they're only 2 points back of Boston, and they have the tiebreaker over Boston. So can they get up into the first wild card? And if they do, they would, you don't know that Carolina's going to win the conference. Carolina's got some weird games. They got to go to Chicago. But right now they have a beat on it because the Buffalo Sabres, now having played tonight, yes, they're going to tie Carolina in points, but they're going to have 2 more games played. Then Carolina will have 4 left and Buffalo will only have 2.
Yeah, Carolina is also playing right now. They're up 3-1 on the Chicago Blackhawks. 10 minutes left in the second period.
Yeah.
And so I thought they may also get 2 points.
And Julian says, and you told me too, Carolina seemingly resting their players.
Yeah, they're already reaching that state in the season. I sent you the list, but no Chatfield, Slavin, Stahl, Martinuk, Jarvis, Aho, and Svechnikov.
Yeah, well, I don't think people took into consideration how badly Chicago would still like to finish near the bottom.
Yes.
and get another really good pick, regardless of who's in the Carolina lineup or not. And just a note, The Winnipeg Jets have 2 late goals in the second period, now up 3-1 on the St. Louis Blues. So good for them, hoping that they can continue and maybe make a late charge for that last playoff spot in the West. But man, oh man, for this Ottawa Senators team, Thomas Chabot comes back. Had to have been some trepidation to watch him play. Could he get hurt? He wasn't going to be at full strength. Played 21-16 tonight, and they backed him off in the third period too. Like through, I believe it was through 2 periods. He had the same amount of shifts as Jake Sanderson. And he didn't look at a place again, which I find mind-boggling. He's out 2.5 weeks, broke his arm, plates, screws in his arm. No problem. No, not the biggest test in the world, but still, for him to look that good, you can almost think about resting him. If they beat the Islanders, they're going to be in. Like, regardless of whether they actually qualify, they're going to be in if they beat the Islanders.
Yeah, they won't technically clinch, but it's pretty much as good as clinching. I think you could probably start looking at resting some guys against the New Jersey Devils, against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Personally, I think especially if they beat the Islanders, there's no reason Allmark needs to play on Sunday.
I would agree. Yeah.
And maybe you look at a guy like Chabot, maybe some of the forwards that have played a little bit more.
Well, yeah, by Sunday night, you're going to know how everybody did on Saturday with a huge slate of games as well. And maybe you do clinch, or maybe, you're close enough. But, man, I might start looking at the Boston Bruins here and saying, can they catch them?
Yeah, I think we could definitely have that conversation. Boston's slowed down in a big way. 5-3-2 in their last 10. And yeah, like you mentioned, just 2 points ahead, and the Senators do have the tiebreaker. So they can rack up a couple wins here, and yeah.
Not a great schedule for Ottawa fans trying to catch Boston. They do have Tampa on Saturday, but they also have going to go through this 5-day break late in the season, which is kind of odd. And I thought it would have been a massive game in Columbus on Sunday, but to your point, Columbus might be completely gone at that point. And then they're facing New Jersey on Tuesday, and for the Devils, that will be completely meaningless. So to be able to catch Boston, maybe. I mean, they beat the Islanders. I can't believe we're talking this way, though.
Yeah.
Like, Ottawa's going to be in a playoff spot and thinking about getting to the next playoff spot. Marlboro Man's in, says PJ and I just leaving the game. Lassie Thompson impressed me tonight. And nice to see Fabian Zetterlund flying around.
Yeah, I think I've actually quite liked Thompson over his last stretch. I think it's the most confident he's looked at the NHL level. Mm-hmm. Seems like that time away last year going over to Europe really helped his game a lot. I think he's a perfectly fine NHL depth defenseman at this point. Interested to see what's going to happen with him this summer, because I believe he's a Group 6 UFA. So he could be on his way out. He could go back to Europe. I don't know that the Sens are really going to try to keep him around, but I think he's shown to be a serviceable NHL defenseman and not somebody that necessarily needs to be playing in Belleville.
Speaking of Belleville, James is in. Says, well, we know a large number of defensemen who we could rest. Crotty, I think Gilbert's practicing. Yakimchuk probably close. Makes you wonder who's playing D in Bell Vegas. Do you know, James, I've never thought about who's playing D in Belleville. Maybe I should.
Too much time around his son this weekend.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I should. James, I don't care who's playing.
There's the fact checker. I was about to say it. Carter Yakimchuk has been sent back to Belleville already. So it seems like he's already back in game shape. But he mentioned Dennis Gilbert there. Gilbert seems to be back in game shape, practicing in a full contact jersey. So nice to see a little bit of depth come back. Obviously, I think they'd like to have Tyler Clevin, but doesn't sound like he's particularly close. And then we're not going to see Nick Jensen again in a Sens uniform, if you were to ask me.
Ben says, after how many D we went through this year, I think you try and retain Lassie. I think you have a conversation. I think one of the things that you point out, Tanner, about Lassie Thompson is that, not only has he looked good, but when you get guys like Tim Stützle mentioning you, like in interviews, like how good you've played, like Stützle went out of his way to say how well Lassie Thompson's playing. I heard somebody else go out of their way as well, which got to give Lassie Thompson a ton of confidence, because it's not only that you're playing well, but that your teammates and your superstars are recognizing that you're playing well. And so, I mean, people just come into their own at different times. And I think we see it all the time, right? It's really hard to judge sometimes how people play in Belleville, because when they get up and start playing with better players, sometimes they also play a lot better. I mean, I could pass the puck to Sanderson behind the net and watch him go all the way up the ice and, pass it. And then I would even get a second assist. And then people go, oh, Versage with a second assist. He had an assist tonight, played 13 minutes. He played well. And you're like, did he? I don't know. It's kind of how I feel about Fabian Zetterlund's goals all season. Apparently,
I think he had a good night tonight.
Yeah, he did.
It's just, it's more of just, you see these flashes from him of him being a shooter and a goal scorer. I thought especially the one goal where he hesitated and then like picked the second angle and buried that one right over Bobrovsky's shoulder was pretty nice. But again, it's just, you see these flashes of it. And if that guy could actually put it together consistently over an 82 game schedule, he would be scoring 20, 25 goals. And that'd be great. The Senators would love that, but they gave him every opportunity to do that this season. I mean, how many games did he line up alongside Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle on the first line? Yeah. So, like how much more opportunity can they give him?
I'm glad that he's gaining some confidence, but where you really need to see where Fabian Zetterlund's game is, can he be a difference maker in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that would be huge, because if you're talking just regular season, I could see an argument to probably move the guy out, paying him $4 million, and he's lining up on your fourth line right now. Now, that fourth line's been pretty effective, as we saw tonight. I thought Eller also had a really nice game, but you can't be paying a $4 million guy to be on your fourth line, ideally. So, I think playoff performance is going to say a lot about what Zetterlund's future might be with this franchise.
So that game has just ended. Darren Radish scored to tie the game for the Tampa Bay Lightning with 1:51 to go. But not to worry, because Juraj Slafkovsky scored with 1:04 to go. And the Montreal Canadiens defeat the Tampa Bay Lightning by a score of 2-1. And now Montreal, like, with everything that Tampa has done, Tampa now sitting in third in the division by themselves. Like, the fact that Buffalo and Montreal have gone ahead of them. So you're going to have Buffalo at 106 with 2 games left, Montreal at 104 with 3 games left, and Tampa at 102 with 3 games left. I think the Lightning would be very much hoping that one of those teams either catches Carolina or that Montreal gets to the top of the division. I think Tampa saw it tonight. They don't want anything to do with the Montreal Canadiens. I said that before last week, and they showed it tonight. Always good to get a nice wrestling reference in there too. I don't know how many other people had it. I don't know if you have you seen it from anywhere else, but I was watching the game and Caulfield scores and I'm like, that's Kevin Owens.
Yep.
So I rewound it. Zach points out, yes, Pat LaPrade is there too. Kevin Owens is going nuts. And then there was a scrum right after, and they played Kevin Owens music the entire time during the scrum. That's good in-game producing right there. But the Montreal Canadiens could absolutely win the division, because to get above Buffalo, They're going to have to win a couple of more games in regulation anyway, and they're only one regulation win behind. So if they were going to pass them, they would have more regulation wins than them anyway.
Yep.
What if Montreal got into the... I'm dreaming here a little bit, but what if Montreal got to the top of the division, which I don't think is out of the question?
No, not at all.
Right.
If that were to happen, I personally, I would
Let me finish though.
Yeah.
Ottawa jumps ahead of Boston.
Okay, that I'm okay with.
Wouldn't that give an Ottawa Montreal first round matchup?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, in that case, no. If top of the division, or do you mean top of the conference?
No,
like, do they pass Carolina?
No.
Ottawa Montreal first round matchup. I mean, I would love it. I'd enjoy it, because thinking back to the series all those years ago, they were electric and so much fun. And I've got some Habs fans in my family that I'd enjoy bantering with quite a bit. But at the same time, when I look at those teams on paper, I feel like the Senators match up the least well against the Montreal Canadiens. So I would like to avoid them, I think. I also personally think the Senators going through the Metro gives them the best chance at a deeper run, because I do like their chances against the Carolina Hurricanes, probably more against them than anybody in the Atlantic. And then against Carolina, I think more so than Montreal, Tampa. I mean, Buffalo's a bit of a wild card there, but I like the way they match up against Carolina. And then if you go through Carolina, you're matching up against one of Pittsburgh or Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's dream scenario, that if you're able to beat Carolina and then you get one of Pittsburgh and Philly in the next round.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they can get into the Metro, the pathway there is a lot better, I think, than going through the Atlantic and having to beat two of Buffalo, Tampa, and Montreal.
Yeah. And you say Philly, and I shouldn't just put them. They're only 1 point now up on the New York Islanders with 3 games to go. So the New York Islanders could get back up. We talked about the Islanders and the coach bump. I think it's very plausible that the Islanders win their last few games. They're all at home. And with the new coach, and if they beat Ottawa on Saturday, they're going to feel really good about themselves. So yeah, I wouldn't count out the Islanders quite yet.
Agreed. And they beat the brakes off the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. 5-3 win there. Outshot them 44-16. Including in the first period, and this was the first NHL game of Toronto Maple Leafs young prospect here, Artur Akatyamov, probably butchering that, his first NHL game. He was a 2020 fourth round pick, 24-year-old goalie.
Right.
He faced 23 shots in the first period.
Welcome to the National Hockey League.
Yeah. And it was only 2-1 as well. But
yeah, you had to know that was coming, right? New coach, 5 days off, 4 games left, playoffs on the line. So I want to hear from everyone listening right now. There's like legitimately, they could face. I don't think they're going to face Tampa anymore, but they could face Buffalo, Montreal, or Carolina. Those are the 3 teams that the Ottawa Senators could face in the first round of the playoffs.
Let's see if we can get a little poll going here in the chat.
And who would be the best matchup in your opinion? Wait for the poll. You can hear the typing, you can hear the hard work, and you can hear the professionalism.
So we just want Carolina, Montreal.
Well, I don't think they can get to Tampa. Like, Tampa's not going to beat both of Buffalo and Montreal now with only 3 games left. I don't think Tampa can win the division anymore. I just don't think it's possible for them to leapfrog over 2 teams with 3 games to go, and as well as the Montreal Canadiens are playing. They're not getting there. So in either of the wild card spots, they're going to face Carolina or the winner of the Atlantic, which is either going to be Buffalo or Montreal. So yes,
the poll should be popping into your YouTube chats, everybody. So make your voices heard.
Who does Ottawa match up best against? The Buffalo Sabres, the Montreal Canadiens, or the Carolina Hurricanes? And I know you can probably take the question a couple of ways, because it's who do they match up best against, or who would you like to play the most? I can tell you that my list would go like this. The Buffalo Sabres, number one. Like, I know Buffalo's a good team. I know that they have a lot of momentum, but let's remember that they haven't been in the playoffs in about 19 million years. And the Ottawa Senators have been playing playoff hockey, while the Buffalo Sabres have been playing great hockey, but their playoff lives were never on the line this year. They haven't had a ton of adversity this year. Ottawa really has. And to me, Ottawa can shut down a team like Buffalo a lot more than some of the other teams. I would pick Carolina second. I don't love the matchup against Carolina. I think come playoff time, they're a very quick team. They like to break traps, and they shovel a ton of pucks to the net. And I still worry about Ottawa's goaltending, even though Linus Ullmark has played well the last little while, except for the Florida game and the game he didn't play before that against Tampa. But I still worry about him, and I would want nothing to do with the Montreal Canadiens. It'd be fun.
Yeah. You can see in the chat here, James saying Montreal would be fun. Julian also bringing up that, like, entertainment wise, it would be the best matchup. Agreed wholeheartedly. I also think we kind of had a fun matchup last season with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Battle of Ontario. I'm okay with, I think, a little bit less of a fun matchup this year. I'm okay with making the ticketing experience a little bit easier for Sens fans. I think I do sort of lean Carolina. I know that, like, both Buffalo and Carolina, it feels like have really had the Sens number this season, but I still like the matchup there, and I like the idea of going through the Metro, because I think that gives them the best chance at going on a deeper run here.
Yeah. Certainly in the next round, it does. Mr. Practicality, I'm going to call Ben like Lance Storm. Mr. Serious, who says also, if we lost to Montreal. No. The first one I wanted to put up. Carolina for the easier path. And I don't want crazy expensive playoff tickets like last year versus the Leafs. Yeah, I recall you getting free tickets, you bum. I recall not having a fridge in here because you went to a game. It's a story for another day, though. And he does say also, if we lost to Montreal. Well, he's a fan. I guess he can do that. I wouldn't want Leaf fans and Hab fans holding that over our heads. Well, how about you beat them, Ben? Why are you worried about, like, what's going to happen when you lose? That's a real negative Nelly for you.
Anyways, if you're curious about the poll, we've got 5 votes. And right now, Carolina is leading with 80% to Buffalo at 20, and nobody has picked the Montreal Canadiens.
Nobody wants Goal Caulfield. Yeah, James says Bussy, untested. Buffalo goalie, also questionable. I don't even know if they would go with Bussy. Like, I mean, Freddie Anderson hasn't got the job done in the playoffs, but he's actually been okay and played a lot of playoff games.
That's the thing, yeah. I mean, maybe it would just be, I would say similar to the Buffalo Sabres. Like, I don't know if they have, like, a guy going into the playoffs, like between Lyon and UPL. Like, you probably give one of them games 1, 2, 3, and if they aren't playing up to standards, you would swap them out. I would say probably similar situation in Pittsburgh with Skinner and Shelovs.
Just trying to look at how many. I think Freddie Anderson's played a lot of playoff games.
Wouldn't shock me. I mean, he's been around for quite a bit now.
85 playoff games. 85.
Yeah, with Bussy, it's just, I think, like you mentioned, like Anderson hasn't gotten it done when it's counted most. And maybe you give the younger guy who's been a little bit of a hotter hand this year the nod. Yeah. I'm not sure if they're expecting Kochetkov to get back either. I'm not sure what his status is.
But you'd never be afraid to go to Anderson, though. That's the point, right? Like, if Bussy was not great or the moment overwhelmed him, the other guys played 85 playoff games. And in front of a good team.
So Peter Kochetkov resumed skating with the Hurricanes 5 days ago and is possible for the playoffs. So they might have 3 guys they could go to here.
That sounds very Carolina-ish. 3 different starters in 3 different games.
Yeah.
But I do think it's great for Senator fans that we're talking this way. After another dominant 5-1 victory over the Florida Panthers, they get to 94 points. And I don't even know, like, there are a couple guys look good tonight, but nobody jumped off the page. They just drowned the Panthers tonight.
Yeah, like I like Zetterlund's game. I thought Sanderson had another nice one. Eller, but yeah, there's not a lot of guys that really jump off for such a dominating performance. It was just like a good team win against a worse team. And I think that's kind of what we were expecting.
Yeah. Florida never had more than 8 shots in a period. They only had 19 all night. They went a couple of stretches. There was one that went almost 11 minutes without a shot. And that's what Ottawa does to teams. They just drown them.
Was there even a part of you that was a little bit nervous when Ottawa was up 3-1? No. Florida had just scored and Bennett was on that breakaway?
No. In fact, I knew Bennett was going to miss, and I was just hoping that because on the pregame show that never aired, I picked 3-1. So I'm like, oh, of course they're going to pull the goalie with like 4 minutes to go, and they're going to get.
Yeah, that was a really bad call, taking the Florida Panthers to win 3-1.
Yeah. Well, only me and you know the truth, I guess. But it's on tape. I have it here. It just never got to anybody. But that's okay. No, I was never worried. Like, not great that Bennett got the breakaway at 3-1, but even if he scored, I wouldn't have been worried. Because Florida couldn't press. They couldn't generate anything.
Okay, so seeing some people talk about online that there is actually a clinching scenario on Saturday.
Okay.
If the Senators win against the New York Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings lose their game on Saturday, the Senators will clinch a playoff spot.
So if they beat the Islanders and Detroit loses.
And Detroit loses in regulation to the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, which would mean, they would get to 96. Detroit would still be at 91, and the Islanders would still be at 91 because Ottawa beat them. Yeah, 5 points. 5-point difference with only 4 points to be able to get. Who's Detroit got on Saturday?
They got your boy Jack Hughes.
They play spoiler to a lot of teams.
Yeah, so Devils are in Detroit, 5 p.m. on Saturday. Also a bit of a note there for the Senators. They're also playing in a back-to-back, but will be less rested coming into the game on Sunday.
So Ottawa could know that they're in the playoffs Saturday night.
Yes.
Like Saturday by 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
If all goes right, yes.
So Z Gibbons says you went live to tape. That's right. Well, we didn't
much,
release it yet. Now, who's this? Live to tape like NWA Worldwide. I love the NWA Worldwide. I need to know who this is. Reveal yourself. Hyper Turbo Scoose 95. That's a good take, though, from NWA Worldwide.
Must be a This Is Wrestling listener.
Well, that's back like NWA Worldwide, like late 80s. Before it even got to WCW Worldwide, which they would tape months of stuff in Orlando. And then they would forget, or they would do something else. And like they would change the championship, and then they would air somebody with the previous championship. Before, like, they hadn't lost them yet, but they aired it after they lost. Oh, look who's Zach says it's the man with no excuses, Jonathan Skuse, in the chat. It is a This Is Wrestling listener. Nice to bring you along, Jonathan. Make sure that you are tuned in to This Is Wrestling and some of the extra stuff that's being put out. You're gonna love the next one that comes out.
The not so short shorts.
Yeah, I think we thought that this one was going to be short, and the next one is not going to be short. Depends how much editing Z Gibbon did, but no amount of editing will make one of us look good and one of us not so good. No amount of editing.
You just gotta get with the times. A short is a 1 minute or less video when it comes to these days.
Well, Tanner, that's not true. Because we put out a short on a hot dog and it was 2 minutes. And it literally.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I guess they changed it.
It's called a short on our YouTube video. So you're not getting this stuff by me. Like, come on. Yeah, I'm not sure whether finishing first in the wild card or not. Like, if people would really prefer Carolina than and going through the Metro, but that's like, yeah, don't worry about this really, really, really good team. You know, the team that had the most points in the entire conference, Carolina. When we beat them afterwards, we get a Pittsburgh or a Philly. Come on, Sens fan, don't be like that. Don't be looking ahead to Sidney Crosby, because they'll just have somebody else break your heart, just like Chris Kunitz did, just like Jake Gensel used to do. Okay. You all remember 2017 when Chris Kunitz scored in double overtime? You remember that, don't you? You don't want that again. You don't want Kyle Dubas and Jason Spezza looking like they're going to light up a cigar in game 5 because the series is over. You don't want that. Looking ahead to round 2. Come on. Yeah, Mr. Worry Ward over here. Also a risk of Hub fan getting tickets in the home barn. Well, shouldn't there be a risk of Senator fans getting tickets in Montreal, Ben?
We got to be realistic with that one.
Z Gibbons says trying to edit out the long pauses, sighs, and groans. Well, if everybody knows me, there weren't a lot of long pauses and groans and sighs from me, Zach. But yes, Jonathan Skuse says the T.I. Dub, longtime fan. Well, now you're a new OSN fan.
There we go.
Skuse.
I don't know if we're putting that one up.
What? Z Gibbons says a lot of them are self-inflicted.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know that's not what you're talking about. Ben hasn't had a great night on the chat, so he's trying to overcompensate. I wanted to ask him which one, but I won't because people don't know the context of that. I won't do that.
All right. Should we reel it back to the Sens?
Moving on. And back to the Senators.
Big career high in points tonight for Drake Batherson.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, he got 69 points. Well, we're on the topic.
Look, we're not on the topic. We are not on the topic. Oh, look who's into the chat. Nice 613 hat.
It's my lovely girlfriend, Jana, sending that from the living room.
You know what? I appreciate that she's in the chat. She's got to listen to you anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Like
I thought she'd be like, "Oh, finally, I get a break for an hour."
She can't avoid it. Sits in the other room while you're yelling and screaming and talking about Ben's whatever he's talking about.
Yeah,
she might as well participate in the chat. I want to know what's Tanner like watching a game with, because if I'm not mistaken,
exactly,
she's a like a casual fan, but not like a hardcore fan, or is that wrong?
Not a big hockey person, no, but she'll look up every now and then.
Casual fan,
yeah. But I'd say it probably depends on the game for me. Either I'm yelling and screaming, or if it's a boring one like tonight, it's pretty quiet.
Yeah, well, if you're yelling and screaming tonight, what was there to yell and scream about tonight? See, this is what we need. We need more of this. He loves to randomly yell during the plays. Like what? Like there's nothing going on. It's in the neutral zone and you're yelling at somebody?
No, I think she just means in general, like at the games.
Probably not as random as she's making it out to be.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's your go-to? Oh.
Every player does that, when there's a shocking moment or something. I don't know.
Anderson, bro. No.
That was probably the other night, yeah.
Let's go with Bruv.
Bruv, there we go.
Instead of
Will Osprey.
Yeah. I might have said Bruv 15 million times to my nieces last weekend on Easter because you could tell they were just so annoyed. They're like, why are you saying it like that? You just sound dumb. You just sound like an idiot. And so I would just say it more because they obviously do not know. As Z Gibbon says, now this is the exclusive we're looking for. I don't disagree. Come on, boys.
Yeah, that's a pretty common one.
I'm waiting for Ben to say something about your tape.
Oh, God.
Ben says, I yelled and fist bumped pretty hard on the second goal tonight. The second goal, remind me, was that was
Zetterlund, was it not?
Yes.
His first of the game.
Why were you fist bumping on a 2-0 goal in the first period, Ben?
I mean, Ben's a big Zetterlund guy. No?
Is he?
I don't know.
Zach says, thank you for supporting my number one wrestler in my promotion league. Ben says, like, good question. What's worse, watching Star Wars with Tanner or watching hockey?
Well, Star Wars makes me less mad than hockey does.
Yeah, but that's your opinion. I'm not sure we're looking for your opinion. We're looking for your lovely girlfriend's opinion.
Yeah, I figured.
Hockey. Definitely hockey. I feel like we've capitalized them as well.
I like the better ask would maybe be hockey or wrestling than Star Wars.
Yeah. But then you don't watch WWE either. Skew says Mendez needs a new suit guy. Come on, bruv. But imagine how many suits you have in your closet, and then you have 82 games. Like plus preseason games, and you got to put a suit on every time. Yeah, I don't know. You could have like 12 different suits or 14 different suits, and people still think you're wearing the same suit all the time.
Yep.
We have digressed quickly.
Just the type of game it was tonight, I guess.
No, and that's it, right? Like, this was such a boring game that good for Ottawa. They're going to really kind of cement themselves into a playoff spot or really near a playoff spot with a good win tonight. But as Ben said, they got up 2-0. They weren't losing this game ever.
No.
Important one going on in St. Louis for the Winnipeg Jets right now. 3-2 Winnipeg leads with 3.5 to go in that game. And as just a reminder where the Jets are, they are 4 points back of a playoff spot, but this will get them to within 2 points with the same amount of games played as Nashville. So almost a must win for them because San Jose and LA are also in the middle there. 84 for Nashville, 83 for the Kings, the Sharks with 81, the Jets with 80. But the Jets are going to get to 82 tonight if they can just hang on for another 3 minutes. In St. Louis, Carolina up 4-1 now. I love the NHL score clock because they not only tell you how much time's left, like most clocks do, they tell you exactly how long's left in the intermission.
Yes.
I love
Very
that.
nice. How about that Minnesota-Dallas game we were talking about earlier today? Big one, of course, there. Playoff preview. The Stars have been held to only 6 shots with 12:29 to go in the second. The Wild with 16. They're up 3-1. Quinn Hughes with a goal, and then 2 by Kirill Kaprizov on the power play.
Wow. And Dallas got the first goal in that game as well.
That's right. Wyatt Johnston.
And they have not done anything since then.
And then Utah up 2-0 over the Nashville Predators. 7 minutes left to go in the second.
So that's a huge one for the game that we were just talking about, the Winnipeg Jets, right? Because they would still have a game in hand on Nashville if Nashville lost and they're able to hang on to this 3-2 lead with now 2:34 to go in the third period in St. Louis. But the Blues just got a power play with 2.5 to go. So nail-biting time. But midway through the second, Utah up 2-0 on Nashville. The Winnipeg Jets' chances go way up with a win tonight and a Nashville loss.
Yeah, and the Sharks also desperately trying to cling on here. They're having a really rough start in Anaheim tonight.
Already down 2. Wow.
They're down 2. It's 11 minutes in, and they do not have a shot on goal.
Yikes. You'd have to think the Kings are going to win tonight at home to Vancouver, which, if they do, they will get to 85 and back up into that wild card, but you still got to go up. Ben says drastic, go up.
Yep.
I'm cheering for the Jets. They're one of those teams because even a guy like Scheifele, you might get to 100 points.
That's crazy for where that team is at.
Yeah, he's at 97 points right now. And I haven't even looked at what he's got tonight. As I scroll quickly.
No, but if the score sticks, it'll be Jonathan Taves with the game winner.
Oh, he's got 2 tonight.
Yeah.
He's got 2 points. He's at 99 now.
Oh, he's gonna hit it then for sure.
What's Ben talking about here, Tanner? Decode this for me.
He's doing the Scott Steiner speech. The addition one. Steiner math.
Now 29 seconds to go. Winnipeg up 3-2. So looking to hang on.
You never know what'll happen. Remember in the playoffs, these two last year in their game 7, when the Blues were up and Winnipeg scored with only seconds left and won it in overtime.
That's what I love about the playoffs. Like, I miss that. I remember that so vividly. I believe that game was 3-1 St. Louis with under 2 minutes to go. And they scored with like a minute something to go. And then they scored with like a couple seconds to go. And then got into overtime and won. Cole Caulfield getting 50 goals. They celebrated that in Montreal tonight, Tanner, like it was more than the game. It was wild in that rink. The announcers throwing to break were like, yeah, it's 1-0, but the story's Cole Caulfield. The game secondary. Cole Caulfield getting 50 goals.
I mean, when your 50 goal scorer drought is longer than Canada's Cup drought, I kind of get it. You know, here in Ottawa, we were lucky enough to experience 50 in 07 and 50 in 08 by Danny Heatley.
Don't I remember 50 in 07. But yeah, 35 years it's been. Do you know who it was?
They said his name on the broadcast tonight. I forgot already, to be honest.
Would you even know if I brought up Stephane Richet's name?
No.
Like, nothing about him? Nope.
No.
Okay.
It's before my time, for sure.
Stephane Richer did it twice. Guy Lafleur did it 6 times.
Yeah, that probably would have been my first guess. And obviously, Richard.
Yeah. Pierre LaRouche, Maurice Richard, Boom Boom Geoffrion, and Steve Shutt. But there's an energy. There's something about this Montreal Canadiens team that's a little bit different this year.
Yeah, and they're going to be dangerous for years to come. I mean, they don't even have all their pieces yet. I know there's a lot of talk that Hage might join them once he wraps up his season in college. And he's touted as possibly their next second line center. They're not even, like, Patrick Laine is not even playing right now either. Seems like he might be done with the Montreal Canadiens after this season. Yeah, they're just really dangerous and so young. When you look at like Demidov and Hudson and all them, like, they're going to be a dangerous team for a long time to come. And I think if we don't see it this season, it's only a matter of time before we do see a Sens Habs playoff series in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
To Ben's point, though, about going through the divisions, I'm not looking like for Ottawa. If they beat Carolina, they get an easier matchup in the second. But what they would get if they go through their own division is they would get a tough matchup, you know, Buffalo or Montreal in the first round, and then they're getting either Tampa or one of Buffalo or Montreal in the second round before they would ever get to maybe a Carolina in the final at that point, in the Eastern Conference final. So yeah, that route is much tougher. Z Gibbons says, normally in a one-on-one, you've got a 50-50 chance of winning, but the Sens are genetic freaks and they're not normal. There's Scott Steiner for you. Buddy Eric is in. Soft spot for the Jets I was born there. Lived there for 10 months. Was in the best shape of my life. See, Eric's sneaky. Very good hockey player, Eric. Played with Todd White. Played with Sean Donovan growing up. And still plays to this day, but has decided for some really odd reason to go and net for some of his time now. And I haven't seen him, but I've heard bad things. It's like stick to what you're decent at, Eric. So
The
Winnipeg
Olmsted Winter Classic coming soon to an ODR near you.
Yep, sends legend Todd White. Well, I can't believe I even said that, Julian. So I'm either lucky enough or unlucky enough to talk to Todd White most days in a group chat, and he is by far one of the most annoying people you've ever met. Like, it's not even close. Everyone would agree. He is the antagonist of every group that he's ever in. So Carolina does look like they're going to go on here and beat Chicago. I know there's still 17 minutes to go, but they're comfortably up 4-1. Yeah, I can tell you what won't be happening. It's this. Zach says new sound drop. Legend Todd White. It would probably piss him off, actually, to call him a legend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Makes people feel old. So if Carolina wins tonight again, though, they're going to be, I think, tough to catch at the top of the conference. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, they're going to get to 108, and they're going to have a game in. So they're going to be 2 points up on Buffalo with a game in hand on Buffalo. Like, Buffalo can only possibly get to 110 if they win both of their other games. And Carolina at 108 can possibly get to 114. Like, it feels like Carolina is going to do enough to win the conference.
I would agree. Yeah, I think it's heading in that direction for sure. Unless you see them start to take the gas off a little bit more, like if they rest players like they did tonight.
They're resting everyone tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep doing that,
yeah,
I don't know that Carolina really has a preference between Boston or Ottawa in the same way that those Atlantic Division teams don't want to face each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what they would prefer. All their games are on the road, but we'll see what they mean. Like, even for the New York Islanders come Tuesday, the Islanders would love for that game to mean something. And whether they get a chance. So kind of focusing in on Saturday now, it is absolutely must-win time for the New York Islanders to win that game in regulation.
Yep.
So I think you're going to get to see what the Ottawa Senators are about, because I think they've done a really good job this week at just focusing in on getting the points against Tampa and Florida that they've needed. But they're going to face an Islanders team that threw everything but the kitchen sink at the Leafs. That new coach bump, and knowing that they're pretty much going to have to win out to make the playoffs and to catch Ottawa. Maybe they're going to try and catch Philly first, but it's just going to be a must-win game for the Islanders, is all I'm saying. And for Ottawa, it'll be nice to see them in an environment like that. How do they react? How do they play? And as you point out, they win that game and Detroit loses, they're in. And they're going to have a full week to prepare for the playoffs, maybe even longer, depending on when the playoffs start. It's exciting times for Sens fans. I understand that there's a crowd listening right now that we do enjoy professional wrestling as well. So it'll be interesting to see going up against WrestleMania weekend. Mm-hmm. However, you can bet your bottom dollar. I can guarantee you, if they play Carolina, they will be playing afternoon games on the weekend. Like, there is zero chance that with games in Carolina that U.S. market will go, you know what we need on a primetime Saturday night? Carolina, Ottawa.
Yeah.
Like nobody will care. And obviously in Canada, they will care much more, but they're not going to get preferential treatment over the Montreal Canadiens. They're going to put those games on opposite days. And then depending on when the Edmonton Oilers play, possibly Winnipeg, but it's going to be.
I mean, those teams will be playing later though, because they're on the West Coast.
Well, that's what I mean. They're going to put Ottawa, or they're going to put Montreal on one night, and they're going to put Edmonton on the other night to see what they can do in prime time. Which Ottawa would always get the third ranking in Canada, and in the US, I can't even imagine what the US networks are going. Don't give us, like, they're all just don't give us Ottawa, Carolina. Like,
yeah, they'd be looking at Tampa, Boston, even Buffalo, probably.
Philly, Pittsburgh. They would be
true. Yeah,
like they hate each other. They would love to get that series.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
So to be able to talk like this, I never thought we would get this.
Yeah, I mean, just think about when we started doing these shows in January, when Allmark had just gone on his leave, Merrilainen was the starter, Reimer wasn't even signed yet, and they were getting blown out every night. Like, we were talking like, oh my God, this is already over. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
Months to go left in the season, and it's over.
14 points at one point behind Detroit. Now they're 3 points ahead of them.
It's pretty good.
So I feel like this is a controversial take. Ben says, I love afternoon playoff games. Okay. What about them do you love? Is that because you're tired at night because you have kids? And that's not a criticism. That's your days are full. And so by nighttime, it's tiring. I hate afternoon playoff games. Like I just can't really get into them. How do you feel about them?
I mean, it's tough because as an adult, I've only experienced my team in one playoff series, and that was last year. So if you ask me what I think, like, I don't remember how I felt when I was 16 years old, if the Sens were playing them at all.
As an adult.
Like, in general, I don't mind afternoon games. I get what Ben's bringing up here. No better feeling than walking out of the CTC in nice weather. I'd like a good matinee game going there on like a Saturday afternoon. I think it makes it somewhat easier for getting together with some people as well. But I don't know that I really have a preference. Like, I think you're going to get both no matter what. They're not going to put all of the games in the afternoon time slot.
Let me tell you a story about this one. Ben says 4 goals from Pajot.
I remember that game.
Oh, yeah. So I was doing post game for that game in my previous life. On that day, it was my brother's stag and doe. It was being held in Renfrew. And it was at night. So this was this was a 3:00 start, this game.
Right.
And he kept that, like, he said, it doesn't start till 8. Like, are you going to get there, though? I was like, don't worry. I will be there. Like, don't worry your pretty little head. 3, game will end at 6. Going to be off the air at 7:30. I will race up there. I'll be there. I got to that stag and doe at like 11 o'clock at night. Because double overtime, Pajot 4 goals, 2 goals in the last 2 minutes to tie it. It goes to double overtime. The post-game show went longer than 2 hours. And I was... there were some unhappy people with me. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It was one of those games that everyone still remembers. Eric says, would you prefer afternoon playoff pre and post game pods, freeing up your evenings to do whatever? No.
Not really, no.
Yeah, no, because I think it kind of gets in the way during the day. And then by the end, I'm going to sound like a bit of a whiner here. If you're doing an extended pregame and then watching a playoff game and it's an exciting playoff game and then you do a postgame show, I'm not feeling like, okay, let's go hit up the town. Like, let's go. I'm kind of tired after that. And it's kind of the whole day. Like, it's beautiful outside and you're like inside watching hockey. There's just, for me, there's that vibe of going into a playoff game night and feeling that way. And I have a difficult time getting up for that same vibe at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you can hit up a bar for the other games. Well, guess I know what Eric and Ben are doing after the afternoon games.
There we go.
Well, Tanner, after a very successful pregame show,
Yeah,
and maybe not as successful, but still a hell of a postgame show on This Is Overtime, the Ottawa Senators are very close. I did see a couple of publications put out that they're over 90% now, right, to make the playoffs.
Yeah, you want to check out our old pals at Money Puck?
Money Puck, yeah. If
I'll bring it up.
If it makes other people feel better, then I'm here for it.
The Ottawa Senators, according to Money Puck, are sitting at a 92.1% chance to make the playoffs.
So you're saying there's a chance.
For comparison, we can look at a couple other teams in the race. Philly at 45.7. The New York Islanders at 36.5. The Columbus Blue Jackets at 14.4. The Washington Capitals actually above the Red Wings at a 6.7, followed by the Red Wings at a 5.9.
Okay, can we just break that down though for a second? And then I'm going to tell you why Money Puck sucks.
Here we go.
Okay. What are the Philadelphia Flyers chances and the New York Islanders chances?
45.7 and 36.5.
One of them is going to win the third place in the Metro. Guaranteed one of those teams is going to be third place in the Metro. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing? That everyone's under 50%? One team's going to make it for sure, and another team is probably, like, if the Islanders win on Saturday, they're going to have another chance to make it. Like, they're going to have 2 spots to make it. What are we doing, Money Puck? What are we doing? Zach says, hey, not the first time tech's gone wrong. Lee, still remember how the Eric Young interview got chopped in half? Yes, I did. I don't know where the other half went. How that was possible. But if we never told you about the pregame show stuff, then nobody would have ever known. So that's good. Tanner and I just got some extra reps.
Yeah.
You can hear the thrill in his voice. Well, mine too. Mine too. I can tell you that. I think the most frustrating part about it is that I have no idea still what happened. Like, I don't know why it didn't work. It's not like I'm like, oh, I made this mistake. And usually it would be me, right? Like, I would make the mistake of why it didn't get to air, but I still don't have that answer. I have no idea why it didn't work. So, last question before, and I know what the answer is going to be, but I got to ask it anyway. Would there be a little bit of fun, like just a tiny bit of fun, in the Sens needing 1 point against the Leafs on Wednesday to make the playoff?
Sure. a little bit, but I don't think anybody wants to see it get to that point. I think if we're at that point, there's a serious problem with this team. If it comes down to that.
Well, no, hold on. They would
Well,
just lose 2. That means they would lose both games on the weekend.
Yeah.
A serious
Sure.
problem? I don't know if it'd be
yeah, that's probably a bit of a jump, but I think you'd much rather it not come to that.
Yeah, I'm in my mind trying to hope that they do this because there's a really good wrestling pay-per-view on Sunday. But I kind of like right now my gut says that the Islanders are going to beat them on Saturday, and they're going to need to win the Jersey game to make the Leaf game not matter.
Yeah, Saturday is going to be a big one. I think we're probably going to have a lengthy post-game show regardless of which direction that game goes, whether they clinch. Or we won't even know if they clinch because it'll also depend on the Detroit game that evening.
Yeah, but they're in. Like if they beat the Islanders, I know the Detroit one will but they're going to be in if they beat the Islanders.
I agree. Yeah, but I think regardless of which way it goes, we're probably going to have a lengthy post-game show on Saturday to break that down.
Well, Ben will be up for it, right? 12:15, Ben. Saturday afternoon. You'll be here because you love the afternoon games. You'll be with us at 1:00. Who cares about what your family's doing on Saturday afternoon, right? Who cares?
Hey, maybe I'll get a hi from Mabel again. All right. With the heel turn.
A little bit of a heel turn there. But what a great night for the Ottawa Senators because good teams go out and do exactly what they did tonight. They made it not hard on themselves. It was easy for them, and they needed to just go out and put Florida down before they ever even got a chance to get in the game, and that's exactly what they did. Yep. And you got just full credit. I mean, crazy to think that Thomas Chabot came back and played over 20 minutes with a broken arm 2 weeks later. But they did everything they needed to do tonight and more. Actually, I wanted to bring this up too, like quickly. I thought Linus Ullmark, that save he made a huge save, which they didn't make that big of a deal on the broadcast about it, with 10 seconds to go in the second period. We kind of gave away the puck, and I forget what Panther cut in, but he was all alone in front. And Ullmark made a terrific save, and that could have turned it. 2-1 at that point. You start to doubt yourselves. But, man, after... Oh, there's our boy, Ethan. Better late than never. It's what they say. Go Sens. Go not see the game, been out all night, but here to cheer on another big Sens dub. So, Ethan, you realize that when you say things like that too, like, didn't see the game, I was out all night. It's like begging the question, like, what the hell were you doing on a Thursday night? That's bigger than watching the Sens almost make the playoffs and not being with us on OSN. Like, what the hell were you doing? I know what Tanner and I were doing, broadcasting to nobody earlier. I'm not sticking around for the answer, though. We'll see if he gets it to us real quick. But so that is the next game, Saturday afternoon. We'll be on 12:30-ish. Massive game. They win the game. They're all but in the playoffs. See, Gibbon says he was watching Roman Reigns highlights.
Ooh. We need to get a OSN or a This Is Wrestling debate between Ethan and Zach, because I think Zach would actually have a brain aneurysm listening to his wrestling takes.
I at a show in the Heights.
We at a hockey game.
I don't know what that means, Ethan. So, Eric, I need you to be correct on this because you can't just say this. 11 wins since the Olympic break for Linus, the most by any keeper, I do believe. You throw the I do believe like it possibly. Ethan says it was at a show. Stop with the generalities. Like, what show? What's a show? The show was in the Heights. What? Like, what kind of show was this? Like at the NAC? That kind of show? And what is in the Heights? I have no idea what that is.
I'm not the one for that artistic thing. So
feels like it was either at the NAC or the Schenkman Center. I don't even know what this is, but I'm almost going to guarantee you it was at one of those two places.
It was a musical. There you go.
That's why I did.
Not a big musical guy, Lee?
No, I'm not. Although, in saying that, I'm not, but been to Manhattan a couple of times, and I went to see Rock of Ages. A little bit before your time, but all about kind of 80s, a lot of 80s hair metal music. And Rock of Ages is coming to Hard Rock Casino in Ottawa for a night coming up.
Ben says you've seen Cats 4 times. Is that true?
You laugh at that, and Zach's got the best one of the whole night. Tanner seems like a Hamilton guy.
I don't mind Hamilton, the musical. My girlfriend, funny enough, is actually like a huge musical person. Like did musical theater, all that. So I've seen a couple of productions at the NAC. Right. My favorite
entendre of her family living, and you go to the.
I know. It was terrible. Zach joke.
That's good.
But the musical itself isn't too bad. My favorite I've seen is Come From Away. I quite liked that one.
Okay. This is where I stop on the post-game show when people start discussing which musicals that they enjoy.
Okay. Ethan's driving. Quit texting and driving. Come on, Ethan.
No, voice to text is the best, actually.
That's true.
I love voice to texting.
I know. Most of my messages I get from you have a little sent with Siri at the bottom of them.
And they're almost unreadable, probably.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I send them to Ben all the time where I just keep talking, and I'm sure it's like 2 pages on this thing. Sometimes I do it on purpose. I just keep talking on it. So funny. But for the Ottawa Senators, what a night. 94 points. The Ottawa Senators are 42, 27, and 10. With everything that has happened this year, they are 42, 27, and 10. It's amazing.
How about it?
It's absolutely amazing. Oh, Chris is in. Chris just says, nice layout. The background. Well, we haven't really fixed it. They came over, did a bunch of suggestions, but I haven't really done anything. People wouldn't even notice, though, that the TV looks exactly the same like it did the last time and the time before, but it's a different TV. Through the one in the garage, and went and got a new one in Perth today. Thanks to Perth. Thanks to Krisha. Yeah. And the Krisha, just to give you an update, the owner they're moving to Nova Scotia texted me tonight to make sure everything was working. I've yet to plug it in though, so I didn't know. I was too busy. And Z Gibbons says, I did not expect Lee to put over my joke and Tanner to no-sell me, right? That's why you don't know. You go in the musical direction and you're going to get some different things. The Ottawa Senators, 42, 27, and 10. 94 points on the year. Just 2 back of the Boston Bruins for the first wild card spot. But more importantly, 3 points up on the Red Wings and the Islanders. They're 2 points up on the Flyers. And yes, Philadelphia in the 3rd spot in the Metro. But if New York and Philadelphia kind of alternate that spot, it could be Philly. It's important that Ottawa's up on all of them. And yeah, now Columbus with 90 points. They're going to have a real tough time getting there after a big loss today.
I got a question for you about the Sens.
Yeah.
So last season, they finished with 97 points. Do you think they surpassed that this year or hit it?
I guess I'm thinking they're going to have 96 going into the last game. That's like, I think they're going to lose to the Islanders. If they can get a point out of it, great. I think they're going to lose to the Islanders and then beat the Devils. So we'll have 96 going into the Leaf game. And I don't know, the Leafs are going to want to lose. Ottawa won't care. They just won't want to get anybody hurt. Sometimes those games, you have absolutely no idea. I'll say no. But I still think they make the playoffs. According to Money Puck, 92.1%.
Mm-hmm.
The same Money Puck that doesn't give any of the teams a 50% chance to make the playoffs when one is guaranteed to make the playoffs in Philly or the Islanders. But, okay. Not a math guy, so. Eric says he feels sorry for Stevie Y. My question would be, why?
Yeah. Some of their big guys did show up tonight, just looking at the scorecard. Dylan Larkin had a hat trick, 5 points for Mo Sider.
Yeah.
But, hey, too little, too late, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him. They don't have anyone. When Dylan Larkin got hurt, they had nobody.
Yeah.
Like, just Patrick Kane doing bad things. And
I still can't believe that penalty he took the other night.
I know. Like, I don't know how he looks guys in the face after. How do you look teammates in the eyes after that?
Yeah. I don't know that they're going to keep him around, though, beyond this season. I think this is his last year on his deal.
Well, Ottawa and the New York Islanders, Matthew Schaefer, Jean-Gabriel Pageau, Peter DeBoer, and the New York Islanders going up against Ottawa on Saturday afternoon. 12:30 will be on. Tanner, thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone for listening in as we hit the 11 o'clock hour. Can't wait. This weekend's going to be big.
Yeah. Big pay-per-view, big couple hockey games.
Big pay-per-view. I'm going to get your prediction right now. Kenny Omega MJF, main event. I want to get you on record.
Oh, man. I have not been paying attention to their TV very much, to be honest with you.
Well, they're in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I do know that.
That's all you need to know.
Probably MJF.
Okay.
And I'll get your prediction on This Is Wrestling coming out.
That's right.
When, Zach? You guys probably have not recorded that, have you?
No. It's probably going to be a tomorrow thing, depending on Zach's schedule. He's too busy for me, though. He said he lost all of his jobs except for his regular job. He's too busy for me.
Yeah, he's got a commentary gig, I hear, this weekend, and heard he might be sticking around for the pay-per-view, might not. See if he decides to stick around for us.
Might not. What do you mean?
Oh, you never know with Zach. Hornswoggle might get booked. He might have to get on a plane and
a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
Zach says, got time to record tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, Zach? I'm quite busy in the morning. I got 3 things going on between 9 and 1 tomorrow. But it's nice that we're booking our This Is Wrestling show at the end of This Is Overtime Senators.
Yeah, and people are actually sticking around to watch this crap.
Yeah, exactly. And it's time to go. So we'll be with you again on Saturday afternoon. Hope everybody enjoys the weekend. And by the end of the weekend, we're probably going to know whether the Ottawa Senators are in the playoffs or not. Like I just, it feels like we're going to know by Sunday, which is great.
Agreed.
Then they'll have a week off to prepare properly and see what they get. All right. Good night, Ethan. Zach and Ben are going at it for showing up for their weekend bookings, and then a quick, unless TNA cancels your booking, because they're canceling everybody right now. So that's inside baseball talk, as they say. All right. Thanks, Tanner. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you on Saturday.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
The Ottawa Senators with a big 5-1 victory over the Florida Panthers. They get to 94 points and now over 90% to make the playoffs. We will talk to you on Saturday afternoon. This is Overtime on OSN.